Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday lunchtime, which means it's time to talk about coping with our feelings. Now, you will see that beside me, I have got some stuff from my mailbox, and I'm going to open that a little bit later when people who I know have sent these are online, because if they're kind enough to send me gifts, I think the least I can do is make sure that they're there to enjoy watching me and my reaction. So, for those of you who are new, welcome. Excuse me, I have a slight cold, stroke, flu, whatever going on, and you're going to hear that. Please don't worry about me, I'm fine. Well, there she is. Yeah, and also I'm waiting for Jeannie, because Jeannie sent me a couple of cards as well. So she might not come in, but just hang on a second, Pat. Now I will open this pretty early. Hi, Sandy. Good to see you. And anyway, for those of you who don't know, we here at DearMamaSal, a group of people who get together 3 times a week. And we get together, these are Pacific times. I'm going to give you lunchtime, noon, lunchtime, Pacific time. We get together to talk about feelings. Then we get together again on Friday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And there well, we have various things that we talk about that one. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to be talking about this evening, because I haven't got that far yet. But then again on Friday, as on Sunday afternoon, where we talk about coping with stress. And so today we're going to be talking about coping with feelings, because there have been so many feelings. And I'm going to ask you, those of you who are online at the moment, and I see we've got people who are online watching, and you're welcome to you. You're welcome to watch for as long as you like. But what I wanted to know, if you could get really honest with yourself for a second and say, my feeling today is, what would it be? And I couldn't help feeling, when I thought about it for myself, I went, I'd have to say sick. Hi, Sharon. And it's not that I am miserable. I just, I've got a bit of a headache. As you can hear, I've got a bit of a throat problem, and I'm probably going to sneeze and sniff. And that's a good thing, because I reckon if I'm sneezing and sniffing, that's a cold. And it's not anything way worse. But so what are you guys feeling today? Let me know. When we get together, we help one another. In other words, everybody in their life goes through good days and bad days, and good seasons and bad seasons, and so forth. And for those of you who don't know, for some reason, at this time, it's me. It's my time now, in some ways, because just 2 weeks ago, I went through a major fire in my home that did over $100,000 worth of damage. Now, that's not nearly as bad as Jeannie, who is also with us today. And Jeannie, a few months ago, went through a fire that devastated her whole home. And so, I keep thinking my feeling is sick, but grateful that I didn't go through. By the way, Jeannie, I thought I'd give you an update. The guy that came to investigate the house from the city, they're the ones that will say whether permits need to be obtained and so forth. When he looked at it, he said this fire was 15 minutes away from total devastation. That's what he said. Now, that was the 15 minutes I held off the fire until the fire engine could get there. And apparently the person from the insurance company that was there with him said she held the fire back for 15. And he said, whatever she did, you guys need to know she saved you a lot of money. So apparently it's a good thing. And so I'm feeling validated in a lot of ways. So let me just see what the comments are here. Jody, and for those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin. Jody's saying, my mood today is introspective and analyzing my life. So you're feeling what? Introspective? is there an underlying feeling under that? Jeannie's saying, I have a cold. I feel sick too. Recommend hot and sour soup. Okay, I feel happy York is back to driving. Yes, that's a major, for those of you who don't know, York is Jeannie's husband. And Jeannie, I just wanted to thank you. I picked up 2 cards from you today. I got a bonus, not 1, but 2. Actually, I picked them up yesterday. And it's so funny, Jeannie, because I'm used to reading your normal address. And I sort of looked at it and I said, I don't know anybody who lives there. And then guess what? I saw the name above it. All right, so Jodi's saying that she's getting a message, all right, that she needs to protect her personal space. And that's a really good message to get. Listen to those messages. If you get a message that says, you know, you need some more rest, doesn't mean that you have the excuse not to do anything. That means make a point of getting more rest. For example, yesterday when I got up, I wasn't feeling very well, but I had a to-do list. And, you know, that part of me that just wanted to curl up and go back to bed, you know, I had a point. That's probably what I needed, was extra rest. But there was also that part of me that says, if you don't deal with these things today, you're going to have twice as much to deal with. And so my feeling yesterday was, do a couple of hours of doing so that you can have the feeling of joy of getting things done, and then rest. And so that's what I did. Do any of you know what I'm talking about? Achievement is a wonderful feeling. And I think some of you know that every morning when I get up, I write down my to-do list on my whiteboard. And I also write down any other things that come to my mind that if I don't have time to put it in the right place, I put it on here. And I really want to tell you, I had such fun wiping things off yesterday. Jeannie, you know what is in both these cards. Are they both okay to open publicly? Is there anything that that you don't want me? In other words, if you say don't open the smaller one, whatever. Wow, Jeannie's saying, I'm feeling very relieved after hearing that my cousin in Oakland fought off a would-be rapist. Right, if any of you have ever had to do that, you will know what that takes. That's called survival. And, you know, it brings tears to my eyes, unfortunately. But yeah, I totally get it. Wow, that is amazing to hear. So, yeah, Jodi's saying prayers for her for sure. What I wanted to do is just, keep talking a little bit about the different emotions as we go through the regular broadcast for today. Okay, I've got both people in the room now that are part of the mailbox section. So, Jeannie, just give me the okay again that I can open both in public, or is there one or either of them that you'd rather I didn't? Okay, all right, then I'm going to do that. Oh, I will need eyes for that, right? Do any of you relate to that one, the feeling of being blind? By the way, I do need to tell you guys that being hard of hearing and people wearing masks is a very difficult combination. I cannot tell you how many times I cannot hear people at all because I can't see their lips move. This is a thank you card. This little one here. Thank you for your kindness. May I read it, Jeannie? Okay, so Jeannie says, Dear Sal, we want to thank you for the Amazon gift card. When they had the fire, I sent one. Hi, Amber, good to see you there. And she said, It took us some thought until we decided to purchase 2 items. The crepe maker you used, yes, in one of your vlogs. I want to tell you, you will not regret that crepe maker. Stroke, indoor fry pan, you know, wherever you want it type thing. And a special spice rack. That I had but lost in the fire. It lifts out and down to display the spices. You're going to send me a picture of that one, Jeannie, so I can know what to get. My sincere thanks for your generous gift. It is my pleasure, honey. And we continue to push forward, awaiting demolition. Well, that's done. I saw the pictures of that because the foundation is said to be okay. The foundation looked wonderful, Jeannie. I was really quite pleased to see how clean that was. It's being done more slowly to try and avoid any cracking or breaking. Well, I thought they did a great job. So thank you so much for that. I will put it, I've got a little collection. I don't know if you guys heard, but my sister sent me a very generous donation. And it was just like, wow. And she said, you know, and it was true. She said, I don't care how much insurance you have, you will never get back everything that you lost. So here is something that I hope helps. Wow, Jeannie, it's interesting. Wow, this just got to me, Jeannie. I need you to know this is the birthday card. And it just got to me this week. Isn't that amazing? Maybe next time, Jeannie, think about putting an airmail sticker on it, I would think. But now, isn't that strange? Because this one didn't have an airmail. And it got to me almost immediately. What is the difference? Can't see any reason why one would take longer than the other. But I am so sorry for not thanking you for your birthday card. And the reason I didn't was because I didn't get it until today, or yesterday, to be truthful. Okay, so Amber, you have a question. Go right ahead, honey. And so the next one is the big one, but let's do Amber's question first. Yeah, it took the scenic route, you know, via Montreal, and yeah, went to go and see Sandy and everybody else on the way. But the main thing is it got to me. That to me is the important thing, right? To me, it's like, you probably don't know this, Jeannie, but well, let me rephrase that. What I used to do was I had an area above my cubies that anybody sends me a card, it stays up there for the longest time, probably a year, you know, until I need to remove it to make room for new ones. You know what I mean? So I have a little display area, and every now and then I'll look at them and know how loved I am. And I thank you for that. It gives me a great feeling of joy, although part of me thinks that's a little self-indulgent, right? How do you do when you want to start dating somebody after you've had a boyfriend pass away? Well, first of all, Amber, our sincere condolences for the fact that you had a boyfriend pass away. Are you asking me how long should you wait, or how do I go about doing it? Just give us a little bit more a framework. And by the way, if you got a moment in between all of this, let us know how you found us. It is an absolute pleasure to have you ask questions like that. Samantha, in the meantime, is saying, hey, Mama Sal, Jody, Sandy, and everybody else, I'm at work, so I won't be quick to reply, but I'm here listening in. We always love it when you're there, Samantha. Okay, Sam. So what I'm going to do is, while I'm waiting for Amber to answer us, I'm going to open up this. I know what it is because Pat already told us on the broadcast, the first broadcast I did about the fire. She told me she was going to send me a quilt. So I know what's in here. And I have opened the thing. What do you call it? Scotch tape. The reason for that is if I open up something and I'm that excited, I was dead scared. If I didn't do it very, very carefully, I might damage what was in there. Fair enough. You know me. I get a bit excited about things. So here it is. And I literally am going to do for you what I did for myself, which is I just opened, hi there, Erin. I just opened it up and I went, and so now, here it is. It's not just a quilt. It's more than just a quilt. And just a quilt, did I really say those words? Isn't this beautiful? By the way, for those of you who don't know, Pat makes these incredible quilts. Now, this is going to go on my new bed with my new bedding. Isn't it beautiful? I mean, that's an heirloom piece, really, people. She's got this incredible machine, people. Takes up a whole room. You know, Pat, you do such awesome, awesome work. More importantly, Pat, you won't know this, but this week I sent back the blankie. You remember that on the night of the fire, my neighbor gave me a blankie to keep me warm. The neighbor I'd never met. And this week I had it laundered and returned. And so now I've got a new blankie for me. That will keep me. You know, it's really strange. As you can see, I bought this one out because I like to watch television and be bundled up. I don't know about the rest of you. It is incredibly beautiful, isn't it? So now there's more. Do you want more people? Okay, we're going to read those in a second. They're Newfie sayings. Hang on. There's a little box that says, thinking of you. And then it says, now we all know that I should not be eating those. But you all know me much better than that. So when I say should not be eating them, Jeannie's saying, I know what it feels like to be in fresh bedding. You just purchased a new full-size sheets for our new bed yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to that as well. Seriously. Did you have to wrap it up so well, Pat? You know, I can be dangerous when I'm excited. Seriously, it's packed even more. This is really to make sure that I don't eat them. They must not know who I am. Okay. Yes. No instruction manual. Ooh, look at those. Aren't they beautiful? All right, everybody. Which one would you go for first? Well, I guess somebody made a decision for me. 1, 2 dropped, right? Okay, where did the other one go, people? Because if I don't find it now, maybe it's under the... I'll find it later. Okay, that's the one I'm going to eat, the one I found. Nice to see you, Linda. Okay. I will try not to eat them all tonight. Well, you had a fiance for 24 years? Amber, it's more in box, people. I'm trying not to talk with my mouth full because my mother's watching. Okay. Amber, I'm so sad of your loss. Ah, was he 24 years old? Okay. Or were you? Yeah, I think you could be right on that one, Jeannie. I misread it in my mind. I thought they'd been engaged for 24 years. It wasn't one quilt, it was two. No. Now you all know that that is going to go beautifully in my bedroom. If I go back to well, I really will go back to the gray theme, gray and blue theme. Look at that, it's got both colors in it. Isn't that amazing? Wow. But you see, I can now have this one in the living room. She's smart, isn't she? She knows me so well. This one I can have in the living room, which you all know, where I sit to watch TV. That's a red theme. You are so smart, Pat. But there's part of me, I know this sounds really funny, there's part of me that goes, I'm not quite sure where, but part of me almost wants to hang one. It is such a work of art. Such a work of art that I'll have to think about that. But very happy. A work of art. Yes, exactly. Hi there, Bernice. Bernice, we were just doing the mailbox. Just so you know, I got chocolates. And I got two different beautiful quilts from Pat. This one. Oh, no, Pat. Oh, I don't just love them. You know something? When I opened this one, I thought, I guess I'm going to need to change the color scheme in my bedroom. And, that was great. But then when I saw this one, hi, Nada, when I saw this one, I went, no, I don't have to. Because I really must say that I found that gray and white very calming, that gray, blue, and white, this sort of color scheme very calming in my bedroom. And so this is going to look absolutely magnificent in there. And and I've got that dirty great washing machine that will be able to wash this as well. I want to tell you something. You will be amazed. You will be amazed how much this is not crud, how much stuff I have accumulated in 2 weeks. I'm actually, and I've got good news, people. I have found somewhere to live. Pat made them. Pat has this unbelievable machine. She has a whole room dedicated to this machine. She sent us pictures one day. Actually, Pat, maybe you'd be kind enough to send me a picture again, just so, if you don't mind my sharing it, because I'm certain people would love to see that machine. It's not just me, sort of thing. So let me just Just bear with me a second. I'm trying to do three things at the same time, which doesn't work well for me. All right, so I've found somewhere to live. I will be able to move, I think, on November the 3rd. Now, what I wanted to tell you is you probably can believe that I'm beginning to get pretty settled here in my hotel room. And I've enjoyed the extra light, even though today is a typical winter day and I can feel that it's a lot darker than it was. So one of the things that I have realized was that, winter in British Columbia is pretty dark, and the more light I can have, the better. And I found two different apartments. One was a one-bedroom facing north, and the other was a two-bedroom facing south. Thank you very much, Pat. She's going to send us a picture. And just give me written permission to share it, if you would. All right, so Bernice is saying the in-laws are coming on the 20th, and I'm in overdrive for getting our house in shape. I am being kind to myself, not over pushing it, starting one bit at a time. Absolutely, just get some boxes, huck things into boxes. I really have to say to you, Bernice, that my house, my new house, this little hotel suite that I'm in, I've got one box that is all my office stuff. I've got one box that's my pantry. I got one box that's my quilts. You know what I mean? I just realized that I'm starting to do that. So, but the nice thing is you can close a box and it looks tidy. So I would really recommend that you do that. All right, so I've managed to find this place, and here was so I want to tell you about my feelings of joy, because I found these two. Now, here's the upside and the downside. The one-bedroom suite faced north, has a little balcony with, balcony furniture and everything. So if it's a fairly nice day, you could sit out and have a cup of coffee. But the bathtub didn't have a grab rail, which at my age is pretty dangerous. So I was a little bit concerned. Hi to Bill. Hi, Bill. Big hugs to you, honey. And is it snowing yet, Bill? Bill, I want to tell you something. I need to go back and do a bit of work in my gardens, but you'll have to forgive me, because this year, apparently, I'm not meant to be doing fall gardening or spring gardening, but we'll see how I do. Bill and I have been talking, our little gardening patches for 12 years, nearly, I would think. It is wonderful. Anyway, so I have found somewhere. But here was the decision. Did I go with the one bedroom, which was an executive suite? When I say an executive suite, it's built for business people, who are staying somewhere long term, like, more than a couple of days. They're staying weeks. And so it's very clean and modern and has all the bells and whistles. Plus, it has housekeeping twice a week, light housekeeping twice a week. Anyway, so then the two bedroom was facing the other side, which is the courtyard area. So not facing a road, facing the inner courtyard. And then has two bathrooms, one of which has a walk-in shower. But, there's that part of me that goes, do I really need two bedrooms? And I know you're all screaming, yes, you do, Sal. And so what I did was I sort of mentally was preparing myself that because the two-bedroom suite was like $700 a month more than the one bedroom, but it was twice nearly twice the size. What I did was I sort of conditioned myself that I would be very happy to have the one bedroom one. I could make a plan, right? So then I wrote to the insurance people and said, I've still got two big fifth wheels on hold, but I am concerned about being camping in the winter. If it had been spring, summer, not a problem. But winter, and, as Jody said, icy stairs on an RV at my age with hip problems already, probably not a good idea. And all those sort of things that went in. And so part of me went, maybe I need to be inside for the winter, fall, winter. And so when I wrote to the insurance people, because they have to make the call, I said, look, quite honestly, by the time you add up all the costs, the fifth wheel is nearly as expensive as going into an apartment. And they know that, because you not only have to rent the fifth wheel, but you have to get it skirted, for the winter. And then you need to have somewhere to put it. And the only place I could find that would take it was in the forest area, in, like not anywhere I could walk to the local shops easily or anything. And it was remote. And I don't know about you, that made me a little scared. I don't think so. But I believe that I've probably had about as much stress as I want to. I don't need to add more stress, is my feeling. And so what I did was I kept waiting for, somebody to give me a sign. And then what I did was I wrote to the people with the apartment and I said, give me the prices on both. Pretty sure that the insurance company would not okay them both. So then I wrote to my insurance guy and I said, okay, here's what I've been doing. Here's what I found. And then I did something I thought was stellar. In fact, Jody would say it was stealth. At the bottom of it, after giving them all the options, I said, let me know which one you approve. At the bottom of it, I said, if you don't approve either of these, I need help finding other places, because this is all that I've been able to find. And by the way, they're all furnished, these apartments. So they don't have to worry about getting all my furniture out of storage. They can keep my furniture in storage. That's less money for them. I thought this through pretty well. And I said, just let me know if you do approve, because then we don't have to worry. But if you don't, then I need more help. And because they did offer to help me find somewhere. And guess what? The guy wrote back and said, we approve either of the apartments, whichever you feel you would be more comfortable in, as long as they are furnished at that price. And I went, yes. Okay, so I will be probably about 10 minutes away from where I am right now, which is already 15 minutes away from my home. So I'm going to be about 30, 35 minutes away from my home. But but I will be in a very nice thing. Now, the difference is the 2-bedroom suite is on the 3rd floor. So 3 floors up, which means I probably am going to, have to use the elevator, but I've been using the elevator here. And I think I will just make a deal to myself that I don't go out in busy times when business people are likely to be going. And also that I will do the same as I do here. And I should show you what I do. Okay, when I leave the hotel room, I take a wet wipe with me. And by the way, you won't be surprised to hear that I reuse my wet wipes. And I'll show you how in a second. But I take my wet wipe and I use that. I literally have it on my hand like this the whole time, and I open doors with it. I press buttons with it. What else do I have to do? If I go to touch something, I like a keypad or something. I went to the bank yesterday, used a keypad. Guess what? I wipe. Even though I know they've done it, I just want to make sure I've done it too. And so this is what I do. And I carry a little bottle of antibacterial with me as well, so that when it dries out a bit, I can, get it damp again. And then when I come home, I just put it down. And then every couple of days, I just wash them all out well with soap and water. And then I just literally refill them with antibacterial and water. So that's what I do. And, after a couple of days, I will throw them away. But, you can actually, they're pretty strong. So that's what I do. So that's what I was thinking, if I'm careful about the elevator. Yeah, Jeannie's saying it sounds good, Sal. The elevator notwithstanding, the 2-bedroom place seems fine to give you enough space. Yes. And quite honestly, again, bigger balcony. And it also, it'll be south facing, but it's got more windows because it's twice as big. So from that perspective, I was thinking in the winter, I think that's a good idea. I think the extra windows are important for me. So that's it. Now then, Pat also included some Newfoundland sayings. Now, if any of you don't know, Newfoundland the Newfies are known for having a wonderful sense of humor. Now, the first one I'm not sure if I can say on YouTube. I'm going to miss the first one for fear that the big algorithm will pick up the word. Okay, let me sort of describe the word to you. It would be an inappropriate way of describing your rear end, and it begins with A. All right, so A on that means it's having lost a lot of aesthetic appeal. Okay. Come from away. Now, come from away is a Newfie way of saying somebody who isn't one of them. Somebody who hasn't, come from Newfoundland. I would be a come from away person. Crooked as sin means that you're really angry. Deadly. Now, funny enough, for a Newfie, deadly is a good thing. Deadly is awesome, great, fantastic. So it's deadly exciting to get the quilts. God love your cotton socks. Now, I remember that from England. And you understand, as I think Pat already knows, somewhere in my little finger, I have Irish in me. You're probably not surprised with my ability to talk, but it's like I believe I'm 1/4 Irish or something somewhere in the mix. And so God love your cotton socks. I learned it, God love your little cotton socks, but that's okay. Which just means thank you. I mean, why use 2 words when you can use 5 or 6? Gotta scold. Like got, E-R, scold, like in piping hot. Things are exactly how you want them. Gotta scold. Now then, Jody, this is one that you might want to write down because it'll confuse people, but I've got a feeling you might need it this week. Got me drove. So got, usual, me drove, as in a car. I drove a car. Okay, it means that you or they are really annoying me. So Jody, I have a feeling with what you believe is coming your way this week, that got me drove will be an expression I will be seeing from you. Got to get me mooseby, which means I'm going moose hunting. Gwanby. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Pat. Gwanby would be, don't be silly. All right, now this one, you all have somebody like this in your life. This is called a hard ticket, hard ticket, okay? Somebody who causes trouble. Who comes to mind? And if in Newfoundland you say, I'm having a time, it means that they're having a great time. How are you getting on? Means how you doing. I dies at you. At you, actually. I dies at you. I dies at you means, oh my gosh, you're funny. Yeah, I think hard ticket, I can imagine saying that, right? Yeah, I made a real hard ticket today. You'd all know now what I meant, right? And Erin saying, got me drove. So many people have been annoying me this week. You see? Thank you, Pat, for sharing this with us. Lard thundering, Lard, thundering, which in Newfoundland means, it's an expression of exasperation. Lard thundering. I personally think it probably means that, but never mind. Lovely, grand. It's awesome. Okay. And loves it, same thing. All right, I'm going to save the other half of these for tonight because they're such fun. But I hope that that's made some of you smile. Which was your favorite one? I'm pretty sure that you all heard one that you're going, yeah, I love that. I like the hard ticket one. That was a real hard ticket. Now, you probably all know that this weekend in Canada is our Thanksgiving weekend. And normally, I would be telling you all about what I was doing for Thanksgiving. And so I'm going to do that anyway, because, life goes on and it may have changed and look different, but I'm still doing Thanksgiving. And I am actually doing two things. I am still going out for Chinese on Sunday with my neighbors. And, we're going to go and do that. And then we are going to their house on Monday for Thanksgiving dinner. So, I wasn't going to say no. Why would I say no, when I have this opportunity to, to be able to go out twice? And by the way, I went out this week to brunch. And if ever, I've got to say, I don't often advertise places, but boy, if you ever get a chance to go to the what's it called? Egg bomb. Egg as in chicken, cluck, 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 bomb as in. I want to tell you, their food is just amazing. And if you like breakfast food, they do the most amazing sandwiches. And every single thing they put down in front of you is a work of art. I don't know about you, but when it looks that pretty, it is just incredible. All right, so Jeannie's saying next week we have a resident appreciation week here, and I want to participate in the good contest. The food contest, absolutely. What a great idea. You see, I think that is part of what is so important. And I want to just say that whether you mean to or not, it's really interesting how your mind gets confused when you are in this post-shock time. One of my neighbors said that she had lent me a couple of clothes and obviously she wanted them back. And I said, I don't think I have those. But I said, let me check again, let me first make sure. But I said, I can't remember seeing those. And it turned out I had both the things that she talked of. And I was a little bit embarrassed. I wrote immediately. And so I just said to her, I have them both. And one of them I would have sworn blind that I bought, but she actually named the make and everything. And yep, it was there. So I think that are they idioms or colloquialisms, Kim? I always get confused with that. To me, expressions from a local area is a colloquialism. Jody will look it up. But you could be right, you know. So we'll find out what is an idiom and what's a colloquialism. That's a very good question. Thank you. I'm interested now. Yes, interesting. Jeannie's saying, but the food that she's going to prepare, but the girl in the office says hardly anyone may taste the food because of COVID. Yes, isn't that sad? And so, you know, we've got to look at how things are changing because of COVID. And by the way, I found out that one of my insurance guys, the top guy, you know, I deal with the second guy most of the time, but the top guy and I don't know how to describe this. He really gets me. Do you know what I mean? He really gets who I am as a human being. And when I was busy kibutzing, if you like, with the fire people, somebody looked really confused, you know, and you could tell that they were questioning my mentality. And this guy, the top guy, turned around and said, you have to know something. Different people have different ways of dealing with high stress. It's a coping mechanism. Humor is her coping mechanism. And I looked at him and I said, thank you, big time, for understanding that. I said, I'm normally quite funny, but apparently when my world has been shattered, I'm even funnier. And he said, I know, I understand. And I don't know about you, but I had a real feeling of being understood. So one of the things I know that he had mentioned something about, you know, making an appointment with me at 8:30 in the morning. And I said, young man, you and I need to have a little chat. I don't do mornings. You want to meet with me, it will be lunchtime onwards or not at all. So do you have this logged into your brain? So he said, got it. So guess what? When he said, you know, funny enough, I'm a morning person. I love breakfast and brunch and things. Yeah. So I said, that's great. So when I went to the egg bomb, I took pictures. And then what I did was I sent him a picture of what I was eating and said, if you like breakfast, make sure you visit one of these places. And he wrote to me and actually what I did was I wrote it late at night, but I scheduled the email to go out 8 o'clock in the morning. Because what do I know? He's a morning person. And the first thing he did was to say, my God, look at the time you sent this. Well done. And I went, no, you don't. I thought you understood. I said, me? I wrote it at 1 o'clock in the morning, but scheduled it to go to you at 8 o'clock in the morning. And he said, of course you did. You're so smart. All right, so thank you, Jody. Jody's saying the main difference between a colloquialism and an idiom is that the colloquialism is a language that is used in daily life. All right, so these daily little expressions, and an idiom is a combination of words that has a figurative meaning. Okay, Jody, can we get an example of an idiom? These are definitely colloquialisms in my mind, but oh, get a taste of your own medicine. Get treated the way you've been treating others. Okay, thank you. But these are what I call local to Newfoundland. They become colloquialisms because they are of the local area. Right? So these sort of things, most people wouldn't say. Only if you're a Newfie would you say these things. That's a colloquialism, if I understand it correctly. But I want to thank you, Kim, because we all learned something today. Well, I did. To give somebody a cold shoulder is an idiom. Yes, okay. But got me drove is definitely a colloquialism. And you got me drove there for a second. All right, so again, thank you so much, Pat, for not only awesome quilts, but also they can look so pretty in my new home. All right, now then, how many times have you heard me say, you need to know what you want in life and ask for it? How many of you have heard me say that? You know, be careful what you think about is one thing I will say to you a lot. But on the other hand, if you want something to change, then think about what your life would be like once it's changed. And, you know, it was so funny. Yesterday or the day before, I was sitting in the thinking room. That would be the one that flashes. I was sitting in the thinking room, and I suddenly had this flash come into my mind about, wait a minute, what else would... You remember when I bought the house, I had the surveyor guy come in, or whatever they call him, the inspector guy, and go through it with a fine tooth comb, and I paid big bucks to have that done in detail. Took him 6 hours. But one of the things that he mentioned, other than the roof needs replacing, and things like that, one of the things he mentioned was that the hot water heater, the connections to it were rusting and would need to be replaced pretty darn soon. And it's sort of been on my mind a lot, you know, that it could be trouble waiting to happen. Well, are you guys interested in this stuff? Or am I just waffling here? Because this is typically Sal. My brother actually just rolls his eyes because he knows that I do this. Okay, so here was, I've just twisted my hip in a funny way. Okay, so if you can imagine, this is the back end of my house. This was the bathroom, because you know it isn't anymore. And then this is the bedroom. And then this is the shower stall. And this was a cupboard, like a laundry cupboard in here, okay? But here was the water heater. And that is in the spare bedroom, otherwise known as the studio. And then here, this was the second bathroom. This is the laundry. And then this was the craft room. And then we went on to the front end of the house, right? So you all got it. But this was the water heater. So I'm sitting in the thinking room this week, and I'm thinking, what else did the surveyor guy, inspector guy tell me needed attention probably sooner rather than later? The water heater. And nobody had mentioned the water heater to me. Now, what do I know? I know that the fire was here. I know that they came in with tons of water from here. They broke through the ceiling here, and they did tons of water from both sides. Get it? Guess what's in the center of those two? The water heater. So I wrote a really innocent little email going, I haven't heard any comment. Did you guys ever find my water heater? And the reason is because it was hidden in the closet here, and there's something that you need to pull out, like part of the wardrobe, you need to pull it out to get to the water heater. So I said, did you guys manage to find the water heater? And is it okay? And what do I know? With that much water, chances are it isn't. So they wrote back to me and said, sorry, Sal, it got severely water damaged. It will need to be replaced. So again, people, if I can stay patient and if I can stay in the right space, at the end of this next 6 months to 9 months, I will have a house with a totally redone bathroom, new water heater, totally redone floors, although it didn't need new floors. The whole of the roof will be redone. The whole of the insulation, that's the word. You see this? all the insulation in the roof will be redone. What else? Yeah, so Jeannie, it's basically the things that needed to be done. I've got a feeling they probably will redo all the wiring. And the reason I think that is because the amount of heat that went, you remember there was nothing to stop the fire going right the way down the roof, the ceiling, what do you call it? Attic, the attic area. There was nothing to stop the smoke and heat going that way. So the chances are they probably will have to rewire the whole house because they don't know how many wires started to melt. Yes, and I agree. Kim is saying, I've heard somebody say, be careful what you pray about. Yes, the same thing. Be careful what you pray about because it's very amazing how many times things happen. And so my brother, you've heard me tell this story before, but literally I was talking to my brother when he was on one of his visits once in the days that I had a little red mean machine, vroom, vroom, vroom. It was a turbocharged car. And he wanted to borrow it to go downtown Vancouver. And I said, sure. And as he got in, I said, I really need to get the hood repainted. It was red, and red fades very quickly, even in the sun in British Columbia. And he was driving, and literally a pipe fell out of the sky from a building thing and went through went through the hood. Well, badly dented the hood anyway. So I needed a new hood, which was then, of course, repainted. And then when he was leaving that trip, I'm not joking, this is perfectly true. When he was leaving that trip, I took him to the airport, and we were sort of just about putting the bags into the car, and we were talking across the top of the car. And I said to Jeff, and by the way, looks like the roof needs redoing as well. And he looked at me and says, I'm out of here. Let me get out of here. And I said, what do you say? He said, you say things and things happen. So, that's the roof. Let's get out of here fast. Well, we both laughed about it. But a week later, I had to write to him and say, Jeffrey, about the roof of my car, the whole of my log pile just fell on top. Well, the top 3 layers of my log file just fell on top of my car. And I need to redo the roof of my car. And he just said to me, so what I want to tell you about is the law of attraction. Good or bad, what you think about, if you think about it deeply, how many nights did I lie in bed or sit there in front of the fireplace thinking, what things need to be fixed and how was I going to find the money? And I kept going through that list of important things that the guy had given me. Now, it's not the way I would have planned it, you understand, and by the way, I don't mind telling you that I was also thinking about a couple of weeks before that I really needed a new fall wardrobe because I had, plenty of warm sweats and things for the winter, but fall, you need what I call crossover clothes, right? You need clothes you can put on top of something and so forth. And I got a new fall wardrobe. So one of the things that I want you to understand about the law of attraction is it works. It really works. So be careful what you ask for, but also be very aware of what you ask for. I've had to stop quite a few people because I hear what they're saying. How many of you say things like, well, I'd rather be dead than do X, Y, and Z, or I'd rather break a leg than do X, Y, and Z. And I go, be careful what you ask for here. Be careful. I learned to actually take those sort of expressions away out of my day-to-day talking. By the way, Nada, are you still with us? I hope you are. Nada, I know you've got a birthday in October, and I'm hoping that we haven't missed it. So if you're still with us, please let us know the date so we can add it. Yeah, she's there. When is or was your birthday? Jeannie's saying my mom would think of a person and say she didn't think that she was doing well, and the next day we would read an obituary. Yes, some people, I have to say, some people are more aware than others. But I literally can think about somebody and then be shocked because they will phone me. It's just amazing. You'd rather not tell publicly, just October. Okay. So happy birthday for whenever it is in October, because I guess I'm just going to have to say happy birthday in case it's that day every time we do a broadcast. So, happy birthday. The other thing is I want to give a heads up because in the next couple of weeks, starting on the 20th, Lauren is going in for an ultrasound, 2 of them actually. She's doing 2 in 2 weeks. And one is for a lump and one is for her shoulder. And so we are just hoping that and praying that all is well. And Jody, please keep reminding me so that I can put up thoughts and prayers on the, around that time. If you haven't already, if you're watching in the background there, hi, I see you. I know who've got in the room, and I know there are more people watching, so hi to the people in the background. Please remember to click on the bell. And when it says, do you want all the notifications, say yes. And the reason for that is because if we're doing a special broadcast or we've got an update on people you might be hearing from in this broadcast, or updating about how Lauren's doing or Jody's doing or somebody else, that we put that on Facebook. But also if I do a special broadcast, I will announce it. And so if you press on that bell, it'll make sure that you get those notifications. All right, so Jody is saying, and I don't know if anybody knows that cantaloupe has been recalled for salmonella from Mayo stores, distributed to the states of Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, and Wisconsin. Thank you for letting us know. Isn't that scary how many times we're hearing about these salmonella things now, which is just scary as the feeling, but what's the lesson? All right. So the lesson here is please stay vigilant about washing your fruit and vegetables when they come into your home. All right. Even if you're going, well, I know the store makes sure that all these things are washed properly. Well, guess what? We just found out not all of them. Clean your fruits and vegetables. Spinach is another one that gets a lot of salmonella stuff. So, and, quite honestly, it's not difficult, right? Just literally bowl full of water, huck everything in with, some vinegar and let it sit there for 15 minutes and then drain it out, rinse it off. Actually, I don't even rinse mine because vinegar evaporates. So I just let it drain and then dry it. Okay, so there we go. So not just fruits, people, make sure it's fruits and vegetables. Also, please remember to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And the reason for that is because I use Facebook as our sort of, I really do use it to update people a lot. It's like a daytimer to me. So, coping with habits. Have any of you started a new habit? Now, I know that Sandy has. Sandy, are you still in the room? This one is pretty scary. Sandy has just had a insulin pump installed in her body. Am I getting this right? I hope I'm describing this correctly. So now that's a lot of new learning. That's a new habit that she's got to get into. And not only that, how many of you know that when something gets inserted into your body knows it's been invaded. So your body is inclined to do funny things to try and protect itself from whatever it is. By the way, I'm sorry to laugh, Sandy, but I just read what Sharon said. You know, Sharon is has this wonderful sense of humor. And she's saying about the fruits and vegetables, it's quite simple, really. Just don't eat healthy food. And you don't have to wash it and worry about the salmonella. Very funny, Sharon. Very funny. Anyway, so Sandy had this pump installed. And basically, if I understand it correctly, and please correct me where I get this wrong, you guys, is that, you know, when the body needs a next insulin shot, it sort of will tell her. Okay, so she said sort of. She carries it, but it is attached to her via an infusion set. So is it like you're constantly got like a butterfly thing and you just give it the next shot? That's, you know, when you get a butterfly, sometimes when you have to have more than a little bit of blood taken, they put in what they call a butterfly. And that's what it looks like. That's why they call it that. And then they can, you know, they leave that in, but they keep changing the vials. All right, so Erin's saying she finally had her ultrasound on Wednesday. It was horrific pain. I was just in a lot of pain that day and it brought it back, bad memories. But it's done, and now I'm waiting to hear from the doctor. All right, so Erin, okay for me to tell people what you had the ultrasound on? And obviously we are so sad to hear. You know, sometimes I wonder, you know, God must trust you so much, Erin. He puts you through so much. And Erin saying, and by the way, Erin knows that if she puts anything up that it's an okay for me to repeat it when we're on a broadcast. And for any of you who might be watching in the background here, if you'd like to join in, just know that I can cut off the written stuff after the broadcast, but I can't cut off what I say. What's the point? So just be aware of that. So if you want to maybe support Erin in some way or something, but you don't want me to talk about it, just start it by saying, Sal, don't repeat this. And then I will, that's the first thing I read. By the way, don't put it at the bottom. We had somebody do that the last broadcast, and I read the whole thing before I got to the bottom and saw, Sal, don't repeat this. And I went, oh gosh, I already did. Okay, so Erin saying, I also saw the doctor today to get a referral to a psychologist. I will call on Monday and make the appointment, and hopeful the referral went through. Yeah, so, you know, I think you deserve that, Erin. I think you deserve to get some extra help because you are dealing, sorry, everybody, you are dealing with so much. DNR is do not resuscitate. Oh, Nada's saying, I always type DNR, but do not repeat at the beginning of a message. Oh, well, now I know what it means. Okay, that helps. So Erin's saying she had to have extra staff go with her that day because it was too much pain to sit all the way up and drive my chair. So the extra staff had to do it for her. Oh, you poor thing, Erin, I'm so sorry. All right, so Sandy's saying about her little machine that she's got. It says it's like a little computer. I tell it how many carbs I'm going to eat, and it delivers the insulin I need. So it's like I'm putting this much in, and the machine says, okay, so I need to compensate by this much insulin. Am I describing that correctly? And it's in her skin, and she changes it out every 2 or 3 days. Okay, fine. Okay, good. I'm glad I got it right. So what I am so aware of is that when you go through shock, which I have gone through, that I don't care how well I'm dealing with it. I still am going to go through those waves. And I just want to keep talking to you guys about those feelings that I have. And I know that Jeannie will totally relate to this, that I can get up and go, wow, I'm so happy to be awake. And, off I go. By the way, I have definitely found out that having a good mattress, when I say a good one, a spring mattress, I have not had backache. I haven't had nearly the hip problems that I've been having. So something's telling me that when I go to rebuy a mattress for my bed, I need to go with a good, solid, good spring mattress, which is really important. So, and again, not the way I wanted to learn it, but maybe that's why I need to live in hotels for a while with good mattresses. By the way, this mattress is like yay deep. It's massive, but it's solid. All right, so Nada's saying, I need a new bed. What kind of good bed? For back and hips, I want to tell you that I have been on a foam mattress for 10 years. And I want to tell you, I can totally feel the difference being on a spring mattress, and a hard spring mattress at that. I'm not joking. My hips are not painful in the morning. My back is not painful in the morning. And I am sleeping much better all around. I'm not waking up as often. All sorts of things like that. So anybody got any tips on coping with less money? We'll be talking more about that this evening, but I just wondered. Jeannie's saying that she enjoyed the Sleep Number bed. I'm just thinking, funny you should say that, because I've always thought that that was a good idea. And the reason is that I can then increase how hard the bed is, right? If I'm starting to feel painful, I can increase it. So that actually was something that I would like to try. And I would think that a Sleep Number bed, because it is air-filled, is probably going to last longer than a spring. Right. And, it's interesting, Kimmy's saying in terms of diabetes, she wished she could have one of those monitors instead of poking her fingers. Yeah. There are quite a few of my viewers that are diabetic or pre-diabetic like myself. And, we do talk quite a bit about the different things that you can do. And I want to thank you all because, and particularly Jody, who taught me so much about being pre-diabetic, because, she taught me so well that I literally, the hotel provides this little doggy bag. It's called the Happy Kit. Okay, every morning, and it has a bottle of water, an apple, and a piece of cake. And it's either a piece of pound cake with fruit in it, or today it was banana bread. But what I've noticed is that piece of cake every day is 300 calories, of which 26 grams of sugar. And, for the longest time, I didn't eat it because, I'm pre-diabetic. But you know what I found out? What I found out is it's all about when you eat it. Definitely not something I want to be eating at night, right? Because, I'm inclined to have my blood sugar go up at night. But, I found that if I have it for breakfast and then really don't eat a whole lot more, and that isn't unhealthy, until dinner, that I do a lot better. And the other thing I do want to tell you, because it was amazing to me, is that I had to go shopping yesterday, and the reason was I didn't have enough colors in my fridge. Now, have I changed or what? Literally, I'm going, I don't have enough fruit and vegetables. I can't see enough color. Everything's looking white in there. White eggs. I mean, eggs are good. We know they're protein, but, you know, white eggs, got milk in there. I've got cream in there because, you know, who knew that cream is okay? You know, and you sort of look at it and you go, there's too much white. Cheese and yellow, but there's not any red, there's not any green. And so I went shopping yesterday to go find, you know, go find colors. And, you know, Benji was talking to me this week a little bit, and I said to him, you know, I really need to thank you for the things that you have taught me. And because not only do I eat the rainbow, as Jodi's saying, but also, I also found that I think about the fact that I need to get out and get fresh air every day. And it doesn't matter whether it's raining or not. And it doesn't matter, even if I go in the car, it's about get out of the four walls and breathe different air. Because all the time here, I'm breathing hotel air. And one of the reasons, you know, that I like the idea of having an apartment with a big balcony on it is that I can open up those windows every day, those big windows, patio doors, and bring fresh air, even, you know, in the winter. All right, Jeannie's saying that her mother taught her never to buy a white egg, always buy a brown. Interesting, yes. I actually buy white only because I buy omega-3 eggs, Jeannie. And my omega-3 eggs are white eggs. And, you know, for those of you who don't know, what's an omega-3 egg? The yolk of it is almost dark orange. It's an incredible color. You know, normally an egg yolk is yellow. An omega-3 egg, the yolks are almost dark orange, incredible color. A marigold color. There you go. Thank you. It is. You're right, Jodi. You obviously know what I'm talking about. So, you know, I don't mind buying white eggs when they're omega-3. So not all white eggs are bad ones. All right. So there's the question I'm certain somebody's going to be asking. Why are some eggs brown and some eggs white? Dum 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 dum. And the answer is, anybody? What makes? Because of the hens. Okay, so it's not about their environment, it's the type of hen. So which hens lay brown eggs? Now, I also want to tell you, brown hens lay brown eggs. That was rocket science. How many of you have had a little help from your friends this week? And in what way? You know, I find it really interesting. Two of my neighbors at my my house. It's so difficult to know what to call home at the moment, as you can probably imagine. But anyway, two of them said, come on, let's go out and do a girls' lunch, which is when we went to the Egg Bomb. And we had, we chit-chatted all the time. And I literally gave them all the options I had about the apartment versus the fifth wheels, and then Airbnb. I also looked at that possibility. But, you know, what I said was what worries me about Airbnb is you don't know the noise level of the family above you. And, you know, they're not going to move in a week. Right? They live there. And so, you know, you could have elephants for upstairs neighbors, and, that would be horrible. And nearly always the Airbnb is in a basement, which I didn't think was a good idea in the winter. And, my new advisory group agreed with me. But we had this incredible brunch together. But you could see how much they enjoyed it. They were away from their husbands and they were just talking. Have you noticed that women talk completely differently together when they're together versus men, right? Women all talk over one another and we will, everybody just chimes in and everything else. And, whereas with men, you've sort of got to do it in the right order. It's sort of like, yeah, it's interesting. But they were saying how much they enjoyed it. And I said, but the question I asked them, and I wonder if any of you can relate to this. I said to them, because I'm listening to them talk about other neighbors. And I said, I got to ask you two a question. When you talk about me, what words follow the words? Well, Sal, how do you describe me? When you try to describe who Sal is. And they both, without even taking a moment, said, no, I say my friend Sal. And they both said it like together. And I went, wow, how nice. Thank you. Not my neighbor, but my friend Sal. Isn't that nice? So Judy's saying, I have never eaten an oyster. We went to a place to buy lunch. They had a raw bar, and the woman bartender called my oyster virgin and treated me to my first oyster. She called you an oyster virgin, okay, and she treated you to your first oyster. This lady insisted on giving me a free oyster. Well, there you go. Right, so the feeling before you had it, and then the feeling while you were tasting it. And then how do you feel about oysters now? Yes, Kimmy. Unfortunately, I'm in Canada, and I don't think that we have that brand of omega-3. But thank you for letting me know. I use Born. Do you have Born in the States? All right, Erin's saying that she had hope for her friends this week. And had a lot of anxiety. I'm sure you did. Going through that scan, Erin, it must have been really scary for you because you know what the possible outcomes are. And so, my heart goes to you. Jody's saying she hasn't heard of Born eggs, right? So that's what I'm saying. Living in Canada, we have different brands. Erin's saying, I also have anxiety today because we are training a new staff. It always brings anxiety because it's a new person watching everything. Well, also you have history of somebody doing it wrong, Erin. And so, to me, I think when you have new members of staff who don't know how to help you properly, that can be scary. But, what I would really recommend is, keep your sense of humor with them. Going, hello, it's my job to help train you. So every time you do anything for me, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help train you. If you would let me. And do it with, with amusement. We have liquid eggs, Samantha, but those are not Born eggs, no. Born eggs are proper eggs in a shell. Okay, so I just want you to think about the friends who have helped you this week. And I must admit that having lunch with the girls was really helpful for me. I needed it. I'm alone here. Ah, interesting. Jeannie's saying she loved the taste. It was delicious. And a Canadian oyster with horseradish and a small cracker. Well, there you go. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, it's one of those things I can remember. Now, funny enough, I didn't feel the same about calamari. I don't know why. It's funny. It's like, why would I eat rubber? That's all I can remember. And I had calamari on the Mediterranean. It's like, literally just about watched it be caught. And for some reason, I really didn't like it that much. I mean, it was okay, but what the heck? So, did any of you have any fear this week? All right, you see now, Jeannie loves calamari and octopus. Well, there you go. Right. I think the octopus and calamari are the same. Are they not? I think that's what calamari is. Okay, Pat, good to see you. Thank you for my beautiful presents. Thank you. Yeah, and Jody said they're not the same. Okay. So what is calamari squid then? The tentacles of a squid? Okay, here we go. I'm always learning these things. Okay, so thank you for correcting me. I appreciate it. So did any of you have any fear this week? Did I have fear this week? Let me think. Yeah, a lot of people walking around without masks. So to me, I'm beginning to get a little bit scared of that. Yeah, Erin's saying about, helping to train the new people. She said, I know that's what I usually do. I know I do everything with laughing and a smile, and it'll be right beside the person who's training. So they'll be on purpose because they know I know what I'm doing. Yeah, absolutely. You're the best person to teach them. When it comes to me, anyways, they almost always say that they don't need to train them because I can talk for myself. You bet you can. And the same way, you'd be amazed how many times, people, when I change locations to have blood taken, people will say to me, oh, don't worry, I can take it from your elbow because, I have it taken from my hand. And I'm going, no, you'll take it from my hand, please. Well, no, I'm really good. I said, I've had really good people try that. And 16 pricks later, they're still trying. By then all my veins have collapsed and I can't get my blood taken. So believe you me, I'd rather have the pain of taking it from my hand. Thank you. Interesting. So Sharon also says that calamari is, both Jody and Sharon saying that calamari tastes like chewing rubber bands. And then, of course, Jeannie's saying that overcooked calamari tastes bad, but when cooked properly, it tastes fine. Well, there we go. Jody also is saying that she always has blood taken from her hand as well. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? It actually, if you got a good, I want to tell you, the last person that drew blood for my A1C, which I aced, I want to tell you, when she took that, there was a trainee watching her. And when this person took the blood, Jody, from my hand, I looked at the trainee and I said, if ever you get to be as good as this lady, I will be thankful. I want to tell you what I just had is somebody, going into the vein of my hand, which is much more painful. And I hardly even felt it. And ma'am, I need to tell you, that was probably the best draw I have had in my life. Thank you for being so good at it. And, to me, it was just like so important that I tell her that. So anybody dealing with fears this week? So then I started to think, okay, fine. If I am fearful about getting in and out of elevators, that's the apartment problem, then I've got to decide how many times do I want to walk up 4 flights of stairs. And I'm going, that could be worse for me, not better. Oh, Jeannie's saying that the office lady said that the food that she's going to be entering into the competition needs to be dessert. Yum. All right, so Sandy's saying, oh yes, I experienced it from my hand at hospital. I didn't like that at all. You know something though, I want to tell you, Sandy, if you have veins that collapse, it is actually the better route to go. Absolutely the better route to go, because it just, if you get, normally somebody more experienced does it. And, it just is, I found that I have less holes in my body when I have it done in my hand. And therefore, since about my mid-20s, I've insisted. They try to convince me if I go to a new place. I say, I don't need convincing. Look at me. I'm old enough to know it needs to come from my hand. I want to be in and out. I don't want to be here for the next 3 hours. Jody said she's been dealing with financial fear, facing rent increase shortly. We're making a plan to quell the fear. Okay, good for you. Because this is where this whole pandemic thing comes home to roost, right? Which is the price of things, which we talked about 6 months ago. The price of things is going to go up, and rents are going to go up, or mortgages, or whatever. The price of things is going to go up, and our income is going down. Oh, Jody says that when she goes to get a blood draw, she actually says, I want number 23 medic, please, and left hand, I'll wait. Yes, be prepared, not scared is the expression I use. And I've been saying that, be prepared for prices to go up, be prepared for this, that, and the other. By the way, I'm interested. I've got Jody and Lauren helping me on, and some of you probably will understand this. They have sent me a list, the insurance people, a list of 200 and something items that have to be trashed. Items that contained, that are plastic, or things that they do not think that it's worth their time to get the smoke out of them. So they will be destroying them. I just had to sign them off. By the way, how scared do you think I was of saying, okay, destroy it all? I went through that list twice, and I kept being scared of what is in there that I am about to destroy that maybe I didn't want to. And what I have to do is to say, Sal, let it go. Let it go. Whatever it was, let it go. Because I have already proven to myself that if I have to start again, I can live in 400 square feet and still be who I am. Does that make sense? And so I am about to be able to move into twice the space. The apartment that I will go into in November is 900 square feet. So I'm going to feel like it's a mansion. And by the time I go back to my house, I'm going to be back in 1,200 square feet. And I probably will be thinking, what am I going to do with all this space? And so, but what I want you to understand is, I look through that list. Can you imagine having to sign something that says you may destroy everything? Now, I keep getting these little flashbacks of, wait a minute, they showed a whole lot of lipsticks. And I want to thank Jody and Lauren, because they have offered to help me go through this list, because I know that when they've finished everything, they're going to say, the 250 things that we had to destroy, we want to give you a lump sum of X to cover that. Or we have already given you so much to cover that. And by the way, Jody, part of my job is to start replacing those things so I can prove to them in real time that that's what it costs to replace them. You understand, the first things I'm going to replace are the things that are on that list. So Jody and Lauren are going to help me cost all these things, because when they say, we want to give you $5,000 to cover these things, I want to be able to say, that's very kind of you, but actually it's going to cost twice that. So thank you to Jody and thank you to Lauren for giving me your time to help me find those prices. I think I'm already up to the first 1,000 and I've only done about 4 things. But one of the things you see that I'm noticing, I saw that picture of all my lipsticks in my vanity, what do you call it? What do you call that stupid thing? Bathroom. You know the thing I'm talking about. I got 2 of them. They took pictures of my lipstick medicine cabinet. Thank you so much, guys. You knew what I was talking about, right? They took pictures of the one that was on the wall. But then I remembered there was that one that was to my left as I was putting on my makeup that I kept all the mood matches in. I had at least 9 mood matches in there. And so I actually, what I'm doing is I'm getting really smart now. I'm just sending a text, right? I want it to be in writing somewhere. I'm sending a text saying, by the way, I didn't see the mood matcher lipsticks. They were in the medicine cabinet, da, 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 da. Do you remember taking those out? In other words, maybe they never opened it. You know, maybe they thought it was a solid mirror, not an open one. And then on the big list, I am making sure that I'm keeping notes of the things that I asked about and the date that I texted it. Jody, exactly. 9 lipsticks add up pretty darn quickly. Now we know I've already got, there must have been at least, 20 that the picture showed. And who needs more than 20 lipsticks? I am aware of that, but the point is the overall cost of what was destroyed is what I'm interested in. So if they try to offer me 5, I'll go, hey, that's really kind of you, thank you. However, the work that we've been doing tells me it should be 10. And I'm literally, if you can imagine this, I'm being prepared, not scared. So I'm literally going to Amazon or to Wish or to wherever I bought these things. And I am finding out what is today's price for this thing, taking a screenshot of it and dropping it in. And, I put a couple of extra columns in their form, and I'm putting a screenshot of what the Amazon price is, and then putting the price in. And then, that price column is adding itself up all the time. Now, Jeannie's saying that York felt that a new washer and dryer were too expensive, so he wanted to save ours. I said, absolutely not. Waterlogged, moldy. He finally gave in and agreed. Now, luckily, Jeannie, I believe that my washer and dryer were just smoke damaged, not water damaged. They were far enough down. Remember, it was the bedroom section, then the spare bathroom, then the laundry. So the water didn't get down there except for the floor. There was an awful lot of water that went down the seams of the floor, which is why the whole floor has to come up. Okay, so Jody, I had a feeling you would enjoy that. It's just like, and by the way, I found that just taking about an hour and slotting some in. I also, of course, being me, made sure that form, as soon as we got the price in, that category turned green, so we knew that it was covered. Our job is to get all that column green, and then we will know we've got everything covered. Jeannie's saying we had a recliner, mission style, in the living room. We discovered Lazy Boy sells one for over $1,900. Yeah. You see, this is the whole thing. That you've got to know what today's price is. And by the way, again, I will repeat to all of you, I was insured for full replacement value of not only the home, but also the contents. Full replacement value. Right? Not, so I probably still, you do understand that, I still will not get everything replaced, right? You and I know that. But I've got a better chance of getting pretty far down that road. All right. Jody's saying, before I even saw the document, I made a note to take a screenshot and to prove my price quote. Of course you did, Jody. That's why I needed your help. You and I know what it takes, right? And so this to me is really important that we understand. But the feeling is not one of I am getting screwed. The feeling is they'll go the easy route. Let's give her 10 grand or whatever the figure is that they say, and she should be happy with it. No, I want to know if they offer me 10. Here's the question. Now, you guys know me pretty well. If they offer me 10 and the prices that we work out come to only 6, what do you know I'm going to say? The same thing is I bought some clothes and shoes recently that I needed, and I've got to return. I had to return one of the outfits, but then I realized I had to rebuy the one that actually fitted me, so that's okay. Yeah. So, but Jody, what I will say is that's interesting. Thank you. The price that I was able to get to was 6, so your offer is very generous, and thank you for covering me for those things that we will never know about. In other words, I will tell the truth, but also take the money if they wish to give me 10. You see, it's all in how you word it. So what I want you all to understand is this whole thing about feelings. I am pretty sure you all know in reality that I get these waves of sadness. I get these waves of claustrophobia. I'm used to 1,200 square feet and being able to, walk around and get some steps in. I'm sitting in 400 square feet. The only way I can get steps is to get out of this environment and go take them. We've got a week coming of solid rain. Does that mean I can't walk? Well, I've been thinking about being prepared and not scared of that in eventuality. And what I realized was, if I were really smart, and I can be, then I should walk the whole length of a corridor, go down the steps, walk the whole length of the next level, go down some steps, take the whole length of that corridor, go down some steps, and go to the lobby. I'm not going to necessarily try and walk all the way up, but maybe I can work up to that. So it'll be interesting to see what does one complete corridor do? How many steps is it? Because if necessary, I need to go out 5 times a day and just walk the corridors. Because I know that I am eating less, but in some ways, but I've got to be really careful. This is winter coming, and it's so easy to eat comfort food. So I'm trying to be prepared and not scared. I do not want to put the weight back on again. What I'm noticing already is that my pants that I'm buying are already too tight on me. Not too tight, too loose on me. And so now what I'm going to do is, I thought about that and I thought, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy some of the soft Velcro, not the industrial one, but the soft one that they make for dressmaking. And I'm going to start putting a little bit of Velcro in the back of my pants so that I can tighten them up a bit, and not have it scratch. Am I making sense? So to me, it's like, I can do this. I want to lose weight. There is an exercise room, but it's closed off because of COVID. In the new apartment place, there is a full exercise room in there, but I don't know if it's closed off. Yes, Jeannie's saying the same thing. Jeannie's saying, I would love to have my home back. Yes, I totally agree, but I have to wait. Why keep feeling sad when I cannot change things? Now, Jeannie, that tells me you have emotional intelligence. You feel the feeling, and that is important. And I don't know what you say to yourself when you feel sad, but I say to myself, of course you feel sad, Sal. Of course you want to cry. You know, it's really sad what happened. But what are you going to do? I was telling you that yesterday I woke up sick and sad yesterday. And, but what I saw was what was on my to-do list was to go back to the check that my sister gave me. And she gave me a big check, for which I'm very, very grateful, to go and buy some other clothes. And I wouldn't necessarily have to buy them at Walmart. And then I knew that I needed to mail Juliana's birthday card. That was important to me. And so I said, I have a choice now. I can lie in bed and feel sick or go back to bed because, you know, I have to get up to get the happy bag, the grab bag. I have to get up every morning to go get that because they stop it at a certain time. So what I found, though, was that I knew that if I went and got the check deposited, I could thank my sister and say, it's deposited, thank you so much. And then I realized that mailing the card to Juliana would make me really happy. And what I did was I found her a card with one of those really fuzzy type pens in it. You know, and she's such a creative person. And you know, it was pink and it looked wonderful. And, you know, I threw in, you know, a bit of money so she can buy what she wants to get. But, you know, that made me happy. And by the way, the people at my post office were so pleased to see me, genuinely so pleased to see me. And then they told me, wait, there's stuff for you. And I said, what? And they brought out the big box from Pat and the 2 envelopes from Jeannie. And so, you know, you look at it, I could have stayed in bed and missed all of that. You know, and, you know, and then I went shopping to get some colors, you know, for my fridge. And I felt so much better. Does that make sense? I felt so much better. Now, am I still, you can probably hear that my throat is still a bit sore. Well, it's not sore. It's, you know, I'm a bit stuffed up. I probably should start taking my antihistamine again. The weather is really socked in. You know, it's like fog everywhere today. So the season is changing. But, you know, have the feeling, acknowledge it. Don't try and stuff it down. I don't stuff it down. I go, I acknowledge that I'm feeling sad or I'm not feeling sick. Just, yeah, I go, okay, fine. You're not feeling well today. Do you still want to do a broadcast? And I go, of course I do. Okay. So what do you need to do a broadcast? Well, I need to get my butt out of gear and start doing stuff. Okay, let's do that. So you understand it's a momentary thing. It's not, let me sit here and feel sorry for myself for the rest of the day. Now, Jody is struggling with a lot of pain. A lot of pain, you know, and the same as Erin is. But, you know, what amazes me is that I was asking Jody, is there any way she could take a day off tomorrow? Not today, of course. I'm very selfish. But anyway, but she said to me she was baking tomorrow. Now, you know, I know Jody well enough to know that baking for her is like, as she said, it's a meditation. She loves to bake for herself and for Lionel and for other people. And so, isn't that wonderful? And, you know, to her, baking is, you know, not working. Baking is fun. Now, we all know Jody well enough to know that she has serious fibromyalgia issues. And so it's, you know, she's going to be in a lot of pain come Sunday. So, but she knows that and she still wants to do it because it's Jody, right? And she doesn't give excuses and she doesn't feel sorry for herself. She knows the price she's going to pay and she still wants to do it. Sandy, I keep thinking about how scary it is the first week when you are starting something new, like your insulin thing. But, I also keep thinking a year from now, you're going to be teaching the rest of us how easy that is once you get used to it. Right? Because everything's easy to do once you know how to do it. And by the way, you guys probably know this, but do you know hotels today now have an app where you can get in and out of your hotel room, with your phone? I didn't know that. And then, of course, I downloaded the app and it didn't work. And again, everything's easy once you know how to do it. So I went down to the guy who runs this place, who is now my bestie, and I went, Simon, I downloaded the app and it doesn't work for me. Therefore, user error, I'm doing something wrong. And he immediately said, let me come and help you, Sal. And he came around from behind the back and he made sure he put lots of antibacterial onto his hands. And I handed him my phone and said, get at it. And, he went blip, 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 blip. Oh, it doesn't work. And I went, thank you. Thank you. And he went back to his side and then he went, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, da, 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 da. Okay, let's try again, Sal. And then he, and guess what? It wasn't that I was stupid. They hadn't clicked all the right buttons at the front desk. But now I can walk up to my hotel room. I've got to show you because it's really smart. I presume you all want to see this. Hang on a second. And you see, it has this thing. And when I get near the lock to my door, this will go green and I can just press it. Don't you love that? Way cool. Sort of, yeah, okay. So I can actually unlock my door right now if I wanted to. So yeah, it is genius, but it's only on my phone with my, and by the way, I chose not to have my room number come up, when I do it. Why? That means anybody could take my phone and know my room number. So my room number doesn't show when you get into this app. But it is, quite fun. And by the way, I've learned now that when I go shopping, all right, which I did yesterday, I came home with a big box and all sorts of stuff, that the first thing I do is I drive the Jeep up to the front door of the hotel and I go grab one of those carts and then I load up the cart and then put it back inside and then I go park the car and come back, take the cart and bring it all up to my room. Now, I'm busy thinking, how am I going to do this in the apartment thing? And, maybe I need to buy a cart like that I can use. I've got one actually in my house. I've got a trolley cart. And when I say a trolley cart, that you can carry heavy boxes on. And somebody suggested I get one of those granny carts, like a bag on wheels. And maybe I need to do that and not be embarrassed by it. Just go, hey, if that makes my life easier, that's what I need to get. And guess what I will do? I will put it onto the cost. I will put it onto the cost of the living in the apartment. Why? I couldn't carry all those bags up. I needed something to help me. I'm not, young enough to do that. And they would totally understand that. So lots of new things, lots of new feelings. And do you understand? I am busy telling myself I deserve this. This is not me wasting their money. This is it is a reasonable accommodation. Thank you, Jody. It is a reasonable accommodation. I have to remind myself I'm not 20. I am 73. I should not have to carry 6 bags of groceries down a long hallway. Or I should not have to do 3 trips to my car to get my groceries to my apartment. Now, I am concerned about how do I deal with Amazon and if I get my groceries delivered. But, we're working on that. I just need to stay at home those days. So Jeannie's saying you do deserve those things. You made me believe it. Yes, I do. And the funny thing is, Jeannie, I'm sure you understand, I am quite human. I would probably insist that more for you than I would for myself. Because I'm human. All right. And I'm certain you all understand what I'm talking about. It's a double standard that we all play. All right. You would insist that your friend have this, but would you do it for yourself? And that's what I'm learning. Those are the feelings that I am being faced with. And what I'm trying to do is understand that all this is here to help me in some way. Right? That all this, however strange it feels, however weird it is, however claustrophobic it may be, I keep thinking, I'm claustrophobic in 400 square feet. And yet I'm delighted to have 400 square feet. It's like the yin and the yang of it. It's lovely to be able to walk from this sitting area into my bedroom or into my bathroom and go past my little desk area. But I'm not using the desk area as much. I noticed that. And I should, because the support for me is much better. So I probably do this evening's broadcast from there. But then, my little kitchenette, I'm getting quite smooth with that. Right? I am learning a lot of things, how to cook on 2 burners. And I'm thinking any minute now, maybe I'll do a broadcast on what have I learned to cook on 2 burners. But you know what? I treated to myself too this week because I couldn't find what I was looking for, and I will still get it. But just hold on a second. Knowing, as I do, that as soon as I get to the apartment, I can call for all my equipment. My Nigel the Ninja is coming to the apartment, I can assure you. But what I did need is something that I can cook in. And I bought this little mini crock pot, which is just the right size for making some soup. Or, yesterday I threw some new potatoes, some vegetables, some bits of chicken, and then I covered it in some cheese sauce and just let it all, I cooked everything first in the microwave, so I knew it was properly cooked. And then I put it in there with the cheese sauce and just let it simmer for a while. And this is like, it was so good. And I was a bit worried when I got up this morning and took my blood sugar because I had new potatoes in there. Again, yeah, a few new potatoes are just fine. All right, so Jeannie's saying our place purchased a ritzy new coffee latte maker. I got a free cup of coffee for York this morning, and he said it tasted excellent. We can use it anytime. Yeah, I want to tell you that making latte was one of the first things I knew I had to do. Now then, let me finish, if I may, by saying that perhaps the scariest thing that I've seen this week is what happened in Michigan. And I just want to finish on this political note because I think it's very important. The fact that people tried to kidnap and maybe do worse to a sitting governor to create a change of government in Michigan was, to my mind, one of the scariest things I have seen. And I am really concerned about all of you in the States, and I pray that you are all safe. I do believe that the next few weeks are going to be really scary for us all. Not only for Americans, but, I want to tell you, as a Canadian, watching what's going on is so scary to me, but it makes me obviously so happy I live in Canada. I don't know what is going to happen in the next few weeks, but I think we should be prepared. We should be prepared that they might come up with the 25th Amendment thing, and try and prove that there is an incompetency going on. Whether they'll get away with it or not, I don't know. But there may be much more violence, and they may involve guns. And so I just want to make sure that you do everything you can to stay out of the line of fire. When I say out of the line of fire, if there is any way you can vote without going out, do it quickly. Do it now. You know what I mean? If you can vote without having to go to the voting stations, if there is any way that you can stay off the streets on that voting day, it would be really important. Jeannie's saying, Sal, incompetence goes both ways. Absolutely. What I'm saying, though, Jeannie, is that's what I see is that they're talking about, therefore it could happen. I didn't say I agreed with it. I just said that that's what I see happening. And so I quite agree that what you say about the one side, you need to be able to also check on the other. Totally get that, Jeannie. That's called fair. So, my whole thing, though, is please, I'm more concerned about the, what do they call them? The boys? Whatever they're called. I'm certain you guys know who I'm talking about, the white supremacist militia people. I am more concerned about them than anything. So all I'm trying to say is my concern for you is that you be safe. And so be prepared, not scared. Think about how to stay out of the line of problems as far as possible. If you don't have to be around anything around the time of that election, that you've already got your ballot in, do it. By the way, do you know that Canada also has an election coming up? Probably not. You know what I mean? Probably not. And ours is, before yours. But, it's like the Proud Boys. Thank you. So what I'm saying to you is stay safe, please. Because I would really, really, really like you to be safe. I would, regardless of who you vote for, I want you to be safe. Do you get that? It's not about which side you vote for. It's about, please, sometimes it's not going to matter what side you vote for. I just want to make sure that you do everything you can to be safe. And that's me just being a mother hen. And so please understand, my thing about going to vote is I have never, as you know, I cast my first ballot in the last decade because I had always lived in countries and never been able to vote. I lived in England. First of all, I lived in Holland and I was too young, obviously. I lived in England and left the year that I was entitled to vote. And then I went to Africa and never became a citizen. I was a permanent resident, but not a citizen. And then, I came to Canada and I lived here for over 20 years without becoming a citizen. But then I became one. And, every time I needed to vote, Yvonne has been with me. She and I always went to vote together. And we used to have this whole, we used to make it an outing. And so now I realize I'm in a different voting zone than she is, in a different city. And I'm going, now what? So now I'm going to have to find new people to vote with, because to me, it's like, it's much more fun if you go and do it with somebody else, right? Otherwise you just stand in the rain. I prefer to stand in the rain and be able to chit chat. So look after one another, please. Please be careful. And this week, just be more aware of your feelings. Please be more aware of your feelings and acknowledge them. They're not good or bad. They are just your feelings. And it doesn't matter whether those feelings are of, wow, how happy I am to get the quilts. All right. That is the same feeling as how scared I am. So I have to pack everything up and move. Wow, Jeannie, what a wonderful thing to hear. Jeannie, for the last year, has been talking to me about her grandson, Oliver, who is 6 and has autism. And she has had the most terrible time trying to get the proper care and schooling for Oliver. And Jeannie is just telling me, the good news is that my 6-year-old Oliver is in a good school with only 3 children. Oh, you see, that's what you asked for, Jeannie. You asked for him to get that sort of care in your prayers. I know you did. He has a teacher, an aide, and a virtual teacher. And the question is, why? Why did he get all of that, Jeannie? Who did what to make that happen? You see, again, ask for what you need. You will be surprised how many times you will get it. And so the Austin school system made that possible. I am sure you will be writing to thank them, Jeannie. You know, as a truly concerned grandparent. And by the way, on my list, and it's overdue, on my list for this week is to thank the fire department people who came that first night. Your daughter did it, right? So I am certain that you will be giving her lots of strokes for the effort she put in to make it happen. You know, reward good behavior. That must have taken a lot of effort on her part. She sued them. Way to go, daughter. Yes, the same way, Jeannie, as I said to the hotel, as a pre-diabetic, I am entitled to healthy breakfast as much as anybody else. So therefore, if you're going to load me up with 26 grams of sugar every morning, that is not looking, you know, I'm a, you know, I didn't say a special needs, but, you know, basically I am entitled, if that is if everybody is getting breakfast, I am entitled to a healthy breakfast. And, you know, they starting apparently this week sometime, they're changing all the breakfast to be more healthy. I just needed to talk about it. And I wasn't nasty or horrible. I said, don't you think that it's fair? I pay the, unless, you know, do I get a discount because I can't, you know, I'm not meant to eat that? And by the way, if I go into a sugar coma, will you be paying the bills? You know, you know, and I joke about it, but you know, they got the message. Yes, Jeannie's saying that her daughter went through 3 years of pain trying to get this organized, but the main thing is not the 3 years of pain. The main thing is she did what was necessary to get what Oliver needed. And therefore, Jeannie, you make sure you give her a lot of strokes for being an awesome mom. An awesome mom that didn't quit on her son, and how proud you are of her. Well, I'm sure you've done that already. All right, everybody. So I do need to get out of here. I will see you this evening. And to all of you, remember to acknowledge your feelings. Don't stuff them down. Don't stuff them down. Feel them. If you feel a little sick today, go, oh, what do I need to do to look after myself today? And I'm pretty sure that one of the things I would say to myself is probably don't talk too much today, but it's Friday. And I don't have to talk too much tomorrow. You see, I can tell rational lies anytime. So be aware that feelings are not good or bad. They are just your feelings, and that's okay. I can remember the frustration that Jeannie had about the fact that Oliver couldn't get the right sort of schooling, that he was going to have to go to regular school, and he was going to be so unhappy. And he was already so unhappy in a regular school. And now he gets a chance to learn. I think that's pretty impressive. So all of you, thank you so much for being here. For those of you in the room and those that are still watching, thank you. I want to send you a big hug, and remember, coping with our feelings is the key to being happy. Coping with our feelings is the key to happiness. When you can learn emotional intelligence and not let the feelings overwhelm you, either good or not so good. When you can just go, it is what it is, it's a feeling. And I can cope with it. I just need to process it, let it go, and get on with my life. Remember yesterday, I'm not feeling great, but I have a choice now. Crawl back into bed and feel sorry for myself, or go out and do a couple of things and feel great about myself. Now, which was the right one? Who knows? I'm glad I did what I did. Why? It brightened up my day. And that is what I try to do every day. This is DearMamaSal saying, remember to look after one another. But please, 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 more than anything else, remember to look after yourself and stay safe, whatever that takes to stay safe. Be very aware of your safety. This is going to be a difficult year for everybody. And staying safe, don't forget to wash your vegetables. Stay out of places that are going to be trouble areas. Do everything you can to live a happy life. Don't go looking for trouble. This is DearMamaSal saying, love you to bits. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye for now.